trying to take someone's eye out. Besides, you're saying it wrong. It's not...
You do it then if you're so clever.
Go on, go on.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! Here's the cover! Yeah, boy. Triple kill.
Oh my god! Wow!
Hey, what's up guys, it's Aka Milkshake here. Now today in this video, I'm going to be talking about IGN Souryuu from Azur Lane. She's only obtainable from the maps 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 and 13.4.
私は宗龍。指揮官、これからは何か変なことをする前に必ず文書で申請してくださいね。
Okay, so let's talk about Souryuu. She's an elite aircraft carrier from the Sakura Empire and she's of the Souryuu class. Hiryu was supposed to be of the same class, but due to heavy modifications, Hiryu became considered as her own class. However, both of them are sisters in Azur Lane. She's voiced by Karin Mitarai, who voiced other characters such as Galil from Girls Frontline. So far in Azur Lane, Karin only voiced Souryuu. Alright, let's talk about Souryuu's design. Now I love Souryuu a lot. I love her teal eyes, her studious demeanor, and her long flowing dark blue or black hair. This part about her is pretty confusing because some artworks have her with black hair while others have her with dark blue hair. But the dark blue hair is consistent with all of her chibi art, so I guess that's the correct one. Yes, I'm aware that she does have a very big forehead. I'm not sure if that ring-shaped thing on her forehead is her hair or a hair accessory, but it does make her big forehead less obvious. She also wears one glove on her left hand, whereas Hiryu wears hers on her right, which is pretty cool considering how both of them are sisters. Unlike other aircraft carriers, Souryuu and her sister summon their planes using Hanafuda cards, which is a type of Japanese playing cards that translates to flower cards. I find this super cool and it does make them stand out from the other aircraft carriers. If I'm gonna be very honest, Souryuu's base design doesn't have anything striking, other than the fact that she is one of the few ships who wear spectacles. I didn't notice her initially, and I felt that she was just another elite ship. But when I saw her retrofit art, I was like, damn, she's beautiful. Okay, so Souryuu in Japanese means blue or green dragon, which explains her color scheme. The smoke coming out of her smoking pipe is in the shape of a dragon, which is freaking badass. I still don't get why she's a bunny instead of a dragon, but hey, at least they reference this in her retrofit art. She is no longer wearing thigh highs, so her beautiful legs can be seen, which is very nice. Her shoes also change in design, with the retrofit one revealing her toes. Speaking of her legs, Hiryu finds Souryuu's ankles elegant and even mentions how her feet are the best in the world. I can't really relate to this, but sure, I guess. This could be a reference to how Souryuu had a slimmer cruiser type hull, whereas Hiryu had a bulkier and strengthened hull. Her Japanese parasol is freaking amazing. Now, I'm pretty sure the things hanging out of it are her cards, but when I first saw this, I thought they resembled video game pixels. Speaking of her parasol, it's freaking huge on her chibi art, and it's even bigger than Amagi's one. This drastically changed her appearance as compared to her pre-retrofit one, which is very nice because I personally like ships who have more complex designs after you retrofit them. Okay, so onto her references to naval history. Souryuu was the first Japanese fleet aircraft carrier to be built as an aircraft carrier from the ground up, as compared to other carriers that were converted from existing hulls. She also participated in the Battle of Midway and was attacked by Yorktown's dive bombers, which crippled her and set her on fire. She does mention this in her self-introduction, and she does have special interactions with Yorktown when put together in the same fleet.
10号海軍最初の純正機空母。以降の空母設計に原型の役割を果たしました。すみません。ミッドウェイの話だけはしないでいただきたいのですが。まったく怒る気にもならないわね。
Souryuu also does have a secretary questline, and in order to activate it, all you gotta do is set her as your secretary and tap her once. Personally, I love this questline because it shows another side of Souryuu's character that you rarely get to see in-game. However, the ending is rather anticlimactic, but other than that, it is really enjoyable. Okay, so let's talk about Souryuu's skills. Her first skill is called Fleet Carrier. When this ship launches an airstrike, increases the damage of your vanguard by 15% for 8 seconds. This does not stack with the same skill. Now the increase in damage for the vanguard by 15% is actually quite a decent amount. It is also guaranteed to activate whenever she launches an airstrike, which is very nice. I do find this skill really useful because it is not faction specific, so at least she can provide support to my vanguard ships from other factions. Her second skill is called Second Carrier Division. When sorted with Souryuu in the same fleet, increases this ship's aviation by 35%. This is a reference to her being in the same aircraft carrier unit with Souryuu. This is a really good skill, and it's even better after her retrofit because she gains a lot of aviation stats. This puts herself at the top 8 aircraft carriers with the highest aviation stat in the game. Since Souryuu also got the same treatment, both of them can deal a lot of damage when paired together. She does gain a new skill after retrofit, and it's called Flowers of Fate. 15 seconds after the start of a battle and every 20 seconds after that, launch a special dive bomber attack, and the number of planes launched are random. Each dive bomber carry 200-pound bombs that each do 96 damage and one 500-pound bomb that do 226 damage. This skill has a 7% chance of launching 5 planes, 12% chance of launching 3 planes, 51% chance of launching 2 planes, and 30% chance of launching 1 plane. Personally, I do have mixed feelings about this skill. I like it because it activates at the first 15 seconds and subsequently every 20 seconds. This means she can help deal extra damage for your vanguard while she waits for her regular airstrike to activate. Now the thing I don't like about it is that the damage it deals is based on your luck. This means if you are really unlucky, she will only launch 1 plane every time this skill activates, which makes her not deal as much damage and thus offer lesser help for your vanguard. On the other hand, if you are really lucky, she can deal quite a lot of damage, which can help your vanguard clear mobs. Alright, let's talk about Souryuu's skins. She does have 2 other skins other than her retrofit one. The first is the Crane Amidst the Pines. Personally, I prefer her to let her hair down, but it suits her just fine in this case. Even though she does reveal her assets, which, don't get me wrong, are very nice, but the main thing that draws my attention is how wonderfully detailed her kimono is. If you look closely at her kimono, the bottom does show a deer, and beside it is what appears to be a boar. Additionally, there is a butterfly on her sleeve. Now if you recall, these are the animals that she calls out when she activates her skill. The ribbon at the back of her kimono is the aircraft runway, and that's freaking cool. I mean, they could just add the entire runway, but the character designers went the extra mile and said, hey, why not have the ribbon on her kimono as the runway? Like, who would ever think about that, right? Anyway, moving on, her parasol does have metallic elements to it because she's a ship, which is a very nice touch. The last bit is the addition of the Shiba, and it's just adorable. Okay, the next skin is the Counselor Girl skin. This is a very simple yet very pretty skin. It is your typical Japanese schoolgirl outfit, but the thing that caught my attention is how they made her aircraft runway her notebook. And just like the previous skin, whoever thought about this is a freaking genius. Sorry, I get amazed about stuff like this very easily. This skin also really suits her studious demeanor, so even though it has nothing flashy, it suits her character really well. Alright, so what are my thoughts about Souryuu? Now in the past, Souryuu was overshadowed by many other aircraft carriers, but her retrofit really made her better, especially her aviation stats. Now people would want to compare her with Souryuu, which is completely normal, but personally, it is very hard to do so because they perform very differently, and as such, they have very different roles. I'll probably explain more when I do a Souryuu review, but in short, she is focused on dealing a lot of damage. She doesn't have any support skill whatsoever unless you consider the luck-based retrofit skill as one. In PvP, she is a monster because of her final counter skill, which can really change the tide of battle. However, in PvE, she is still usable with her other 2 skills, but I personally think the final counter skill will be wasted because why would you want to purposely kill your ship just to activate it? On the other hand, Souryuu is the jack of all trades. She is capable of supporting your vanguard ships really well, be it in PvP or in PvE, by increasing the damage they deal and provide extra damage via her retrofit skill. She also does have an amazing 150% efficiency for her dive bombers after retrofit, which is actually pretty high. This coupled with her greatly improved aviation stats makes her a pretty decent supporting and offensive carrier as compared to Souryuu, who is mostly focused on being offensive. However, despite being a jack of all trades, she is a master of none. Her retrofit skill isn't something that you should rely on for damage output unless you're super lucky. And if you were to ignore this skill, she doesn't have any other skills to boost her own aviation stats, unless she's paired with Souryuu. This makes her less universal, and it means you need to put both sisters in the same fleet to boost their damage, as compared to other carriers that can do so alone. As such, people would prefer to use other aircraft carriers than using Souryuu because not only does it cost more oil to put both sisters in the same fleet, you will also only have one more slot available for another ship in your main fleet as compared to 2. Even though Souryuu is overshadowed by other carriers, I still love her very much. Her character arc in her questline is super cute except for the ending, and I truly appreciate her in-game design. Even though I won't be maximizing her damage output when paired with Souryuu, her Vanguard buff and her good aviation stats after retrofit are good enough for me to use her in my fleets by herself. But that's just me because I like her a lot. Now if you want to use Souryuu by herself like me, there are 3 ways you can equip her. The first is the supportive carrier loadout. You can use the A6 M50 fighters and the Combat Dive Bomber. The homing beacon that can be bought from the core data shop can be used as well. This loadout is mainly focused on triggering her fleet carrier skill more quickly so that your Vanguard can receive their damage buff more often. The second is the offensive carrier loadout. You can use the Hellcat, Seafang or the F4U Pirate Squad as her fighters. As for the dive bombers, you can use the SB2C Helldiver. This loadout is focused on dealing a lot of damage and maximizing her aviation power. Since Souryuu isn't there to boost it, might as well make use of what we can. Now the last loadout focuses on support as well as offense. I personally am not too sure which combination is the best for this loadout, but you can try mixing around the aircrafts and the equipment from the 2 other loadouts. Do note that these are by no means the best loadouts for Souryuu because it really depends on how you want to build her, be it as a support, a damage dealer, or both. Alright, so here are all of my thoughts about Souryuu. What do you guys think? Do let me know in the comment section down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do leave a like if you guys did, subscribe for more awesome content, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
So